Let's name the best active NBA player at every height. Standing at 5'9", the shortest active NBA player is Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah last played for the Charlotte Hornets, and while as of this upload he is not signed to any NBA team, he is technically not retired and looking to join a team for the 2023 season. At 5'10", the second shortest active NBA player is Facundo Campazo, who as of this upload is a free agent but so far played 2 seasons with the Denver Nuggets, averaging a little over 5 points per game. He's a solid role player. There are only 2 active NBA players with a height of 5'11", and they play for the same team, the Minnesota Timberwolves. These players are McKinley Wright IV and Jordan McLaughlin. Out of the 2, this easily goes to Jordan, who averages 5 points per game compared to Wright's 1 point per game, and Jordan had a career-high 16 points against Memphis during the 2022 NBA playoffs, which is impressive for a role player who gets limited minutes. At 6 feet tall, while Kyle Lowry makes a good runner-up, this easily goes to Chris Paul, who while is 37, Paul still plays at a really high level even at this age. And Kyle's getting old himself too, he's 36, soon to be 37. At 6'1", we got a tough choice between Fred VanVleet, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and Trae Young, the closest being Donovan Mitchell versus Trae. Both Mitchell and Trae are average defenders, with Mitchell being slightly better on defense, and offensively, these are some of the best offensive powerhouses in the game today. Now, despite taking tougher shots, Trae has a higher PER and field goal percentage, with his PER being 25.4, shooting at 46%, whereas Donovan's PER is 21.6 with a roughly 44% field goal percentage, so for that I am taking Trae Young, who can pull up and hit threes from the logo. 6'2" has a lot of solid picks from Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, and Derrick Rose, but this easily goes to the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry. Many people would say that Curry is 6'3", and for a while he was listed at 6'3", but more recent height reports list an updated height of 6'2". Speaking of 6'3", some good runners-up at this height are Anthony Simons, CJ McCollum, and Jamal Murray, but I am easily taking Ja Morant, who is one of the best dunkers in the game today and one of the best rising stars, who looks like he's ready to take the league by storm in the very near future. At 6'4", this is a tough debate between Jalen Green, Jordan Poole, DeJounte Murray, Anthony Edwards, and Bradley Beal, the closest of which is Anthony Edwards versus Bradley Beal. Beal right now is way more experienced and is the better offensive player, but on the defensive end, there's some things we need to break down. Anthony Edwards' defensive rating is better by Beal's at roughly 4 points, and if you compare that to their scoring averages, there's only a 2-point differential there. With that in mind, if you add the fact that Anthony's upside heading into next season is going to be way higher than Beal's, I would say that maybe even using last season's statistics could be irrelevant because we really just don't know how high Ant-Man's ceiling is. Whereas Beal, I think he's still a really great player, but maybe, just maybe his best days are behind him. I just gotta be realistic with things. Plus, Beal averaged 23 points as the Wizards' primary scorer, whereas Ant-Man averaged 21 points as a secondary, arguably third option on his team. 6'5" is a tough call between James Harden and Devin Booker. If this was Rockets MVP James Harden, then no question this goes to the beard. But in this day and age where Devin is entering his true prime and James is leaving his true prime, heading towards the back end of his prime, I think it's fair to give this spot to Booker, who did have a bad ending to the 2022 playoffs, but Harden's 2022 playoff run wasn't all sunshine and rainbows either. 6'6" is a really tough call between Zion Williamson, DeMar DeRozan, and Jaylen Brown. Zion is the biggest surprise X factor here. It's very possible he can re-emerge and take the league by storm, but as of this upload, that's yet to be answered. For now, I think the debate is between DeMar versus Jaylen. There was a point in time last season where DeRozan was in the MVP conversation, but there was also a point in time where he slipped out of that conversation, and we can't forget that Jaylen was considered the best Celtic in the 2022 finals. Also, while DeMar is easily the better offensive threat, on the defensive side of things, Jaylen's defensive rating is roughly almost a whopping dozen points better than DeRozan's. So factoring in both sides of the court, I think Brown's all-around game takes the spot, but it is close. 6'7" is a really close call between Luka Doncic, Jimmy Butler, and Kawhi Leonard. Luka, no question, is the best offensive threat of these three and the best floor general here. While Kawhi hasn't played in some time, I do believe he's going to step on the court this year as one of the best two-way players in the league, and we can't forget Jimmy Butler, who is also a great two-way wing player. In a vacuum, you'd take Leonard here, and by the end of the season, that might be the case, but right now, we simply don't know if Kawhi is going to take a step back or if he's going to return to his 2019 form. So to be critically consistent, the choice here has to be Luka Doncic, only because we know he's healthy and we know how he last played, and we know what he did to the Phoenix Suns. 6'8" has a lot of great choices like Pascal Siakam, Brandon Ingram, Paul George, and of course Jason Tatum. Jason gets my pick here, but Pascal Siakam is a really underrated player who deserves a mention at this spot. And while Jason's final debut was subpar, it was his first finals against a veteran dynasty team, so you should be able to cut him some slack. At 6'9", this no question goes to the now bald LeBron James. Being bald increases his power level significantly. 6'10" has some nice choices like Anthony Davis and Jared Allen, but this easily goes to Kevin Durant, who is still one of the best offensive players in the game today. And now for the toughest debate of this video, 6'11", Nikola Jokic versus Giannis Antetokounmpo. These two are both in the conversation for the best player on the planet right now. You can make a great argument for either player, and while Nikola is the better passer and arguably has the better offensive game, on the defensive side of things, this is night and day. Giannis is one of the best defenders in the game and the best two-way player, so for that, as an overall game on both ends of the court, he has to get my pick here. At 7 feet tall, without question, this goes to Joel Embiid, who is one of the best players on the planet today and is a huge candidate for MVP this upcoming season. Standing at 7 feet 1, we have one of the best defensive centers in the game today, and that's Rudy Gobert. There's a very limited pool of players listed at 7'2", but of the choices, I am going to take Boban, who while some may consider underperforming based on expectations, I think as someone who only played 3 seasons so far, he still has potential to take things to the next level. 7'3" easily goes to Kristaps Porzingis. The unicorn needs no explanation here. 7'4" belongs to the only 7'4" player in the game today, and that's Boban Marjanovic. And at 7'6", while he technically is in the G League as of this upload, I want to include Taco Fall as a mention because I think there is a chance an NBA team can pick him up, and I do think he is talented enough to get NBA minutes. So here is the best active NBA player at every height from shortest to tallest heading into next season. Let me know what you think of this list and what you want to see in the future. Don't forget to dunk on that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on. I'm Rebound Rewind, and I'll fast forward to you later.